Hello everyone, it's Mono. Today's mostly scripted ramble is going to be about Sonic OCs, aka Sonic fan characters, and the wonderful world of Sonic Adoptables. Quick disclaimer, this video is absolutely stuffed with my opinions. I'm not here to shame or bring down other artists, and I won't be showing anyone's art to put it on blast or anything. However, I will also be calling out a few genuine issues in the Sonic Adoptable community alongside the lesser problems, so just keep that in mind. It's okay to disagree, just be civil amongst yourselves, please. Anywho, if you aren't aware or you don't typically hang around internet fandom art spaces, adoptables are character designs created by online artists that can be sold for anywhere between a few shillings up to a few hundred doubloons. It may sound absolutely insane, but yes, some people actually do pay hundreds of dollars for a cute scene core sparkle dog so they can draw it themselves, write stories about them, hi cat, and or buy even more art of the character. Most adoptables tend to originate from certain fandoms and subcultures like Sonic, Pokemon, furries, even more human-based media like anime and Genshin Impact have OC and adoptable communities surrounding them. If there's a fandom, there's probably an adoptable sub-community for it. Now you may be wondering if selling designs based on massive intellectual properties, aka IPs, is ethical or even legal. Well, I'm no snitch, so you'd better not be either. But in all seriousness, it's kind of a gray area, and most IP holders won't try to take down adoptable artists. However, it depends on the individual designs being sold too. You'll get what I mean later on. I'll be illustrating my talking points with some goofy little drawings, so let's get right into it. Hedgehog Adoptable number 691337-420. Okay, look, I'm not saying you can't make Hedgehog Adoptables, and I'm also not saying they can't be inspired by pre-existing Sonic characters. However, Hedgehog Adoptables, especially the ones that are pretty much recolors of existing characters, are super oversaturated in the adoptable market. I will rarely, if ever, pick up a Hedgehog Adoptable because so many of them are just Sonic, Shadow, Amy, or even Silver, but a different color or with one or two markings added. This applies to other characters as well though. Like just the other day I saw an adoptable that was basically Tails, but green with a different eye color. I'm not saying these designs are some immoral stain on the planet, but they just feel lazy. I don't understand selling something that buyers could have made by messing with the hue slider on one of the official renders in an art program for like 2 seconds. This also goes for fan kid designs. Fan kids are made when you take 2 or more characters and design what their hypothetical kid would look like. But a lot of fan kid adoptable artists are kinda lazy, honestly. Like, look at Shattuck. Fusion of Sonic and Shadow, right? Oh my god, I hate this design. This is literally what some fan kid artists would design and sell to you for probably over 50 bucks. My pet peeve here is that a lot of the time, the artist will do one of 2 things.
One!
They'll directly copy and paste character traits from the parents onto the fan kid with 0 actual changes, rather than trying to make something new, let alone a coherent design. It's almost like a chimera. Or 2, which is worse in my opinion, is they'll literally take the design of one character, turn their body colors into... Thanks, car outside. They'll literally take the design of one character, turn their body colors into those of the other parent, and that's the entire design. Like, that's basically a recolor with extra steps. Why is this $80? I mean, look at Punnett squares, genetics. Humans, cats, dogs, all sorts of animals have offspring that's a mixture of the genes of their parents. Of course, there are species that fall outside of this, but I'm not talking about them. You could also have throwback traits from previous generations in the form of recessive genes. You don't have to copy and paste colors and details, you could combine them, or even add ones that aren't inherently obvious looking at the parent designs. Not to mention, there's so many different fashion styles you could give to a fan kid, just to help set them apart from being a fusion of 2 characters. And I don't get why so many artists opt out of making more unique fan kid designs with their own personalities, if they're going to be peddling them to the public. Why make a Blaze and Sonic fan kid into a purple hedgehog with Blaze's exact outfit when you could try something like, I don't know, a more bluish purple hedgehog with light purple tips, and maybe their quills are softer or they have some fluff since they're a hybrid? Maybe the kid's really into kawaii aesthetics, so they have a more soft-colored wardrobe. Or you could go the complete opposite direction with a more gothic or punk-inspired look. Boom, there you go. You've already set yourself apart and are far more original than several adoptable artists. My next talking point, I'd say, is more of an actual issue. Copyright infringement and theft. I'm not here to play defense for big companies, they can take care of themselves, but something that really bothers me about the Sonic Adoptable community is artists stealing designs from other IP like a ton of different anime. Pokemon, Persona, Undertale Deltarune, I've even seen someone rip off a frickin' Overwatch character and sell it as an adoptable. And see, I don't care if you take characters from other media and make them into Sonic OCs for you to mess around with. I've even done that. That's personal use, it's nobody's business. My problem is with people who, for example, take Eevee from Pokemon, draw an Anthro with a mono eye, and sell it with little to no changes to the base design. It's just theft at that point. Regardless of the price, it's theft. If you look at one of these designs and you just see a Pokemon, or you just see a character from an anime, that's a problem. The thing is, I think Pokemon can be some awesome inspiration for Sonic OC designs, and I'm not against adoptables inspired by other IP at all, but it's about how you execute it. For example, color picking a Pokemon's colors for a design, or making clothes that kind of resemble a Pokemon, or you could even give a character abilities inspired by one. For example, what about a more gothic-style dog with a dress that looks like Chandelure? There you go, Pokemon inspired without just being an Anthro Pokemon. Oh, and I'd also like to say that artists aren't the sole problem here. People who buy these stolen designs, there are people who buy these designs up in droves, and they're contributing heavily to the issue, and are only encouraging these artists to keep stealing designs for profit. On the topic of theft, AI-generated adoptables being, let's say, reclaimed by artists and being sold as adoptables. There are scummy folks who will just pump out AI-generated adopts trying to sell them for a couple bucks a pop, which is bad enough by itself. Never buy an AI adopt, they can't be copyrighted, and you basically don't even own the character, even if you paid for it. It's a scam. Just straight up. But what especially doesn't help is actual artists swooping in like vultures, taking these AI slop redrawing them, and peddling them back to the public for a higher price, all without disclosing that they took those designs from AI. Like, yeah, I'd rather someone pay an actual artist for that design, but considering AI is still trained off of actual artists' art, and people's Sonic OCs have been used for training AI in the past without any consent, there is a very big chance these artists are just selling a stolen design, even if they redrew the slop and cleaned it up. Heck, just the other day I saw an OC that I 100% without a doubt had seen someone either AI generate an identical copy of, or even worse, they were scammed by one of those artists. It's just purely unethical. And it's really sad to see how dishonest some artists will be for money, especially because it can cause problems for people who buy these OCs and then get accused of theft later.
Chaos Blast!
Of course, right after I mention AI, I'd like to bring up quantity over quality, because oh god. And let me make this very clear, there's nothing wrong with using a base to create characters or drawing fast. As long as the base you're using was either made by you, or you have permission from the creator to use the base for commercial profit, there's nothing wrong with making adoptables on a base and selling them. Most base users are not the type I'm talking about. Fucking god, people in this house stop being so loud. However, some adoptable artists get so frickin' greedy, it's insane. It gets to a point where they'll speedrun their designs. Slap ears here, tail there, put a color there, and maybe a marking somewhere. Gotta make it a little original. Like, some artists will legitimately put in the tiniest amount of effort possible, to make these really vague and simple designs. And then they'll put the whole sheet up for sale, often for prices that are just so not worth it. If you buy one of these designs, you just get stuck with this frankly really bad reference, and you're either going to have to redesign the thing or add anywhere between 50 to 75% of the details on that character for yourself just to make a somewhat unique character. They're just these non-characters that have zero individuality. They almost look corporate in a way I could just never see them being someone's Sona or a regular OC. If you read the Sonic IDW comics, even the background characters are more detailed than some of these adoptables, man. Like, you're better off making an OC out of one of those. The only thing I can really say in terms of advice is that it's probably better to avoid buying from these artists if you want high quality designs. Some of these adoptable artists are ridiculously popular, and that's why they can get away with selling so many low quality designs for the prices they do. I highly recommend searching for smaller artists who put effort into their adoptable designs. If you see a design and could see it being someone's Sona or even just a character in an actual story, chances are you've landed on a good adoptable. Plus, you'll know you're supporting a small artist who will really appreciate it. This advice especially goes for people who write stories or have a world to fill out, so you can actually focus on your story and not redesigning lackluster characters. As for the artists who make designs like this, I mean, get your bag, but it's really sad to see so much greed and wasted potential. Moving on.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
One of my most important points in this video is to always check an artist's terms of service, aka TOS, before you buy their adoptables. Before you buy anything from them, really. I swear there's like a certain type of design artist with the worst TOS policies known to mankind will sell. It'll probably be the most gorgeous damn character you've ever seen, with all these yummy little details, shiny long hair, outfit that may be a little bit revealing, just a very pretty and high quality design. But then you buy the character, forget to draw them for a week, and all of a sudden, hey, did that artist just relist the adoptable I bought? I always check the terms of service of any artist I buy from, so long as they have it available. Because although the vast majority of artists have a reasonable terms of service that simply protects themselves and you as their client, some sneaky artists will have completely crazy ones. I've backed out on multiple designs I would have loved to own, just because the artist had some overly controlling rule I don't agree with. Things like, you can't change the design at all, you can't resell, trade, or regift them. You can't change their name, just really petty stuff, honestly. But in more extreme cases, I've seen artists with rules like, you don't use the design in a certain period of time, the artist will blacklist you from buying from them ever again, and relist the character for sale without a refund. I mean, God forbid someone's going through a hard time for any reason, or they just get busy and can't draw the character for a bit. Could go on and on how this can also be a bit ableist as well, but I won't bother. And from an artist perspective who also has my own terms of service folks have to agree with in order to buy from me, and I paste that everywhere so no one can say, oh, I didn't know. No, it's on my Ko-Fi, it's on every listing, it's on my queue, it's everywhere. These over-the-top rules, in my opinion, are not necessary. I think if you're going to have rules like this, you may want to work on learning to let go. Once you sell a design, you can't control what someone does with it. Sure, you can blacklist them for breaking TOS, but who's to say they were going to shop with you again anyway? Personally, I don't check on my designs after they sell, because it's none of my business. The only time I would have an issue with one of my buyers is if they tried to resell my character for a much higher price without adding anything to it, like new art. However, artists are also allowed to have their TOS, and at the end of the day, if you don't agree with it, you shouldn't buy from them. Let your money speak for you. Take your business to an artist that doesn't have ridiculous policies. Well, this video is getting a bit long, so with that being said, those were some of my biggest issues with the Sonic Adoptable community. Again, I'd like to emphasize I am not coming at specific artists here. This is just a very broad and generalized video of things I've noticed and don't like when it comes to the adoptable market. I'd also like to mention that I've seen several of these topics discussed in the Sonic community as well, which has really helped me develop my perspective on them. And if you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be announcing the winners of my 1000 subscriber art raffle soon. Chances are when this video goes up, the entry period's gonna be over, but you can still stick around to see what I make for them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.